Okay, this is video lesson number 2, and then we're here for 3L for the notes here. So let's go ahead and get started. Finding an angle note separate from the one on 2L where you're finding a side. This one you're using an inverse function to find an angle. Missing angle is actually called inverse trig or inverse trigonometry. So an inverse function is a mathematical function that undoes another function. In trigonometry, the inverse function are very useful for finding unknown angles. For sine, cosine, and tangent functions, the corresponding are sine, this little symbol, -1, inverse, okay? It's called arcsine. For the cosine with the little inverse, it's called arccosine. And then for the tangent one with the little -1, it's called arctangent. They're the inverses that are helpful to finding unknown angles. So this is the general idea of this, where you have an angle, you have the sine ratio, like you have opposite of hypotenuse, and then you can use inverse sine of this value to get you back the angle. If you want to find out what it is. And then can you please write this down here on the side? Any trig ratio with meaning cosine, sine, or tangent, where this is a general way of writing something, right? A trig ratio. Trig could stand for any of these three of an angle equals A over B, right? Any opposite or whatever out of whatever hypotenuse, right? And then to solve for an angle, you're going to use this format for inverse trig, whatever this is. If this is cosine, this is cosine inverse, or this is sine, or tangent. And then of that same ratio, if you do this in the calculator, you will get back your angle. So let me show you a good example here of this one right here. So for this one, I did this setup right here. Sine of C for angle C that I labeled over here. Sine will be opposite over hypotenuse, so 9 over 12. So this, what I have here, 9C equals 9 over 12, is exactly what I have. What is this? Trig theta equals A over B. So then, now what do I do to find the angle? Well, I follow this over here. The angle is C, so the angle goes first, equals, now the inverse, which is this guy, this inverse now, of the same ratio of AB. So this goes there. Now this in the calculator looks like this. You go over here, let's clear this, and then this is sine 9/12. Okay, so you go to inverse right here, sine 9 over 12, and then right there you go. The nearest tenth, 48.6. So let's do that. 48.6 right here. Okay, so since we got that angle, we just do 90 minus that angle to get this one, to get the other one. So angle A would be 41.4. So let's go to another example here. Same thing. This time I want to use tangent for angle A. Tangent would be opposite over adjacent. I labeled the other one just in case I wanted to use that one, but I didn't. I used tangent, 3 over 4. And now this again is the same as this. But now you want to find the angle, so you follow the format. Angle, inverse trig of the same thing. An angle. You got that? Inverse tangent. Really quick. Inverse tangent of 3 over 4. There you go. The nearest tenth is 36.9. Right there. 36.9. 90 minus that 36.9 will give you the angle of the other one. So good. Now for this last example, I want to show you how I put it all together. This is going to be 2L and 3L together. So let me just kind of write that here. So let's write that this is in general 2L and 3L. Putting it together to resolve a triangle, meaning find everything about this triangle, all the sides and all its angles. So we set up first a trig ratio here for the cosine of 45. Now why cosine? Because I have information for the adjacent 23, and then I want x. So cosine 55 is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is my x. cross multiply, I get this right here. I want to solve for x, so I divide out the cosine of 55. Now I want my x, I get this in the calculator. Let's just do it to the nearest tenth again. 23 over cos 55. 23 divided by the cosine of 55. There you go, 40.1. So 40, this is going to be about 40.1, and then we got it. So 40.1 degrees, right? So good. And then let's do the other one. I'm sorry, 40.1, not degrees. This one is the side. So 40.1, just the side there. Let me just make that little. There you go. Okay. So the other one here now over here. So can you please get this one? Now you say same thing. You're gonna put this over 1. Cross multiply. This is actually an easier one because it gives me the answer right away. Y equals 23 times tangent 55 degrees. You want to make that separate because you don't want to put the 23 over here. You're going to get confused. So here it's easy. So 23 tangent 55. You get 32.8. So that's the side, the other side there. So y is about 32.8, and good. That's another one. But now I want the angle, but using trigonometry. So for this one, I'm going to do this. Now that I know the y and the x, I can use anything. Since I use cosine and tangent, I'll go ahead and use sine. And this video should be like just about 8 minutes. So just let me see if I can finish it. Sine of what? Sine of C. Angle C is going to be opposite, which is going to be right here, my opposite over my adjacent. So sorry, that's my adjacent, but it's going to be sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So don't forget that. 23 and then x, right, which turns out to be 40.1. So instead of that, I put this, sorry, really quick, I get rid of that, and it's 40.1 because we figured it out. So now I follow the thing right here. Remember the inverse here. Now maybe we don't have to draw arrows because you know the pattern. Sorry, really quick. It's a little bit hard to do both of these. There you go. Right? That goes to that. Put this in the calculator and then we'll see our angle. Finally, almost there. Inverse sine of 23, 40.1. 23 divided by 40.1. So 35 degrees.